Jamaica became the first small country in the world, right, to issue independently something that is known as a catastrophe bond. We're a small country that is susceptible, vulnerable to natural disaster shocks, i.e., hurricane, tropical cyclone, etc. That if it occurs, can put the government out because it, lots of expenses.
Yeah.
Now, because we work so hard on rehabilitating our economy, and I want to give you an example of how my real practical experience that really, let me give it. Back in 2016, when Jamaica was about to, allow me this detour, when Jamaica was about to prematurely terminate the agreement with the IMF, it was called an Extended Fund Facility, and enter into a new agreement called a Precautionary Standby Arrangement. And we're moving from, the Extended Fund Facility was $980 million, and the new one was $1.6 billion. It was a big deal. Nobody was expecting it, and that's what made it even a bigger deal, right? The big bosses from the IMF coming down for the announcement, and a little storm began to develop in the Eastern Caribbean. I forget the name of it. Was it Matthew? I'm not sure. I can't remember. This is 2016. And this is Jamaica here. And everybody's tracking the storm, the hurricane, and it's doing this. And it is the closest direct hit that Jamaica has had in 30 years. Closest to a direct hit. And we were all convinced that this hurricane was going to hit Jamaica directly. Right? As a result, people from the fund, they packed up, headquarters called them back, left Jamaica. The big announcement was not going to happen. And in that moment, I was not Minister of Finance then. I was Ambassador of Economic Affairs, and I was responsible for the relationship with the multilaterals. And I negotiated this program, this $1.6 billion program, right? And then it became abundantly clear to me, my God, if this thing had hit, we started to calculate that what we were negotiating couldn't help us. Yeah? And it became abundantly, and it just calculating what the reversal would have been. All the progress made by the previous administration would have gone out the window. And it became very clear to me. And I said, look, if I get the chance, I will never leave Jamaica exposed to the effect of natural disaster again in terms of fiscal exposure. Because I came face to face with the possibility of what that would mean. Meaning that over that period, I'm having discussions with IMF about how we would have to upsize what we were about to announce.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to think measures, countermeasures, countermeasures.
Exactly. Yeah. In the end, thank God, praise God, the hurricane did this, and it went up and hit Haiti. Unfortunately, 800 people died in Haiti.
Wow.
And that was a hurricane that went all the way to New Jersey and reduced New Jersey to being like a developing country. I think we can all remember that.
Yeah.
So what we decided to put in place a multi-layered strategy of financial instruments that delivers resources in the event of a natural disaster. The layers are, we allocate a couple $100 million every year in the budget. That's the first layer. The second layer is that we're developing a natural disaster fund where we put money aside every year to build up to help us in natural disaster.
So like not just help the government, but like people who need to rebuild
government expenditure. So in 2019, I had put $4.5 billion away in the contingencies fund. The contingencies fund, up until that time, had a maximum cap of $100 million. The cap was $100 million from 1992 all the way to 2019. It made us say, look, this is crazy. We need to have buffers. So we did something that was uncharacteristic. Politicians spend money, forget vote. Right? No, we took $4.5 billion and put it away in the contingencies fund in 2019. Do you know that the first amount of COVID money that we were able to support people with a year later was from that contingency?
Wow.
That is why we were able to give people benefits even before the United States.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? Because you have to remember, resources have to come from somewhere. COVID hit, revenues tanked while expenses remained. Because we had this tucked away and because the purpose of it was for emergency, we drew down from it. And the first bit of set cash and compassionate grant money came from the proceeds of this contingency fund that we had put away in 2019, in March of 2019. Didn't know that COVID was coming. But again, principle. The principle is just like Joseph in the Bible. Save for a rainy day. Fill up the barn in good times. Right? We obviously, after spending it on that, we were able to replenish it. Right? So we have it back at that level.
Okay.
Right? Now, so that's it, the second layer. The other layer, we have what we call a credit contingent claim, which is a program with the Inter-American Development Bank that allows us to draw funds down in a natural disaster. Normally, you'd have to go through the loan agreement and due diligence and all kind of paperwork, and it take months. What we have done is to do the paperwork up front, and they have the funds there. Within days of a natural disaster, we would get it. Okay. And then we have the Caribbean Catastrophe Reinsurance Facility. That's been around for a long time. We continue that. And then the final layer is a catastrophe bond, which is capital market investors, international wealthy institutions who want to diversify their risk, put money up, and they put it with the World Bank. And the deal is we pay a premium every year. And the deal is if there's an event, all of that money comes to us. All of the principal comes to us. You understand what I'm saying? So you put up $100, you pay X dollars per year, whatever that X is, as premium. And if there's a catastrophe, that $100 comes to you. And that's called a catastrophe bond. We first did it in 2021, and we became the first small country to issue it. And we're going to issue it again in 2024.